Welcome to Penn Foster Connections, a podcast dedicated to linking careers with the professional in our global community. Today we are joined by Rebecca Soufflis, a professional wedding and event coordinator from Sarasota, Florida. Thank you for joining us today, Rebecca, on Penn Foster Connections.
It's my pleasure.
Let's get started with our first question. Why don't you explain the role of a wedding planner?
Sure. Basically, I consider myself as a fairy godmother. I'm basically the director of their big day, not just the day of, but from start to finish. I need to make sure that I get a good budget in order for the client and understand what their needs and wants are. I'm basically the professional being able to negotiate in the field with all of their vendors, getting everything taken care of from start to finish, and making their dream a reality. So things like budgeting, time management, all different kinds of things that in everyday life and knowledge in the classroom will apply to this.
That's fantastic. Speaking of the classroom, if we were to consider a skill as a measurable professional trait, like licensure or certification, even proficiency with computer operations or digital media, what skills would you say are absolutely necessary to excel as a professional wedding planner?
That's a great question. I love using Excel. Excel is my go-to place. When I'm dealing with budgeting and things that the client needs and wants, I throw it in there and make sure that all the numbers add up. Also, time management is a big thing. Being able to do timelines and formulating how things go on not only the daily basis of the wedding day, but, 6 months out, 3 months out. And having those skills are really essential to being a wedding and event planner.
Wow. Some of those things seem that you would anticipate those skills. What would you say was one of the experiences or skills that were demanded of you that surprised you of being a wedding planner?
Very surprisingly, you have to be very almost secretive with the client. They're going to be expressing a lot of intimate details with you as far as wants, needs, and especially the money aspect of things. And you really have to take it on a deeper level of confidentiality, I would say, because these are things that don't need to be expressed to other vendors, and being that you're kind of their go-to person from start to finish, it's really a necessary quality that you need to have.
I think that's important that you lay that out for us, that there are standards and professional ethics in the wedding planning and event planning industry. If we were to define quality as a personality trait, like being dependable or loyal, what would you see as some key personality traits that a person can develop or enhance so that they can stand out in this field?
Right, and there are a few. Just a couple that I definitely use on a daily basis with my clients. Number one is patience. You have to understand that this is probably the first time that this couple or this family is going through this. And even though you are the professional and you've been trained in the field, they haven't. You have to be very patient with them and understanding to their needs, their wants, and the fact that this is a very big event in their life. Another thing that I really take into consideration when I'm with a client or clients is listening to them. Not everything that I think is right or wrong or should be done for their wedding is necessarily what they want. Listening to their wants and their needs is very important. And just on a final note, you also have to be extremely flexible. Not everything is going to happen 100% of the time the way you want to. And you have to be on the ball and ready for plan A, B, all the way through V, and be able to take things on as they come from start to finish, from when you first meet the client all the way until they walk out the door on their grand exit.
Wow, that's a big responsibility. Can you share an experience that reinforced the idea that being a professional wedding planner is indeed your dream job?
When I first started, it was a very stressful situation, but when you think about it, having this couple's big day on your shoulders is a very huge responsibility. And it can be a little tricky and a little stressful, but at the end of the day, their ending is like a fairy tale. If you use your resources and you use your training and your learning, it will end up that way. And knowing that the client was extremely happy and extremely excited about the way their day went is just reward in itself. And furthermore, knowing that a client may have referred me to someone else and hearing maybe that a new bride had an experience at a wedding or had said that their girlfriend had used me in the field and she recommended me, 150%, that's really reward in itself, and it's what makes me do this every day.
And after all, it is a business, so it does grow your business and help you network to advance yourself, promote your own business, correct?
Correct. And not only do I do wedding planning entirely, and you'll learn that taking these skills that you learn from the classroom and utilizing them into the real world, not only is wedding planning just a business, I've evolved it to an event planning business where I event plan galas and anniversary parties and baby showers. So the reward is not just in the wedding planning business, but being able to grow your business in any event whatsoever.
Thank you, Rebecca, for joining us today on Penn Foster Connections.
It was my pleasure, Kelly. And don't forget, a wedding planner's role is to make a bride's dream a reality.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Rippon for Penn Foster Connections, a podcast dedicated to linking careers with the professionals in our global community. Recorded February 20th, 2017.